Hello and welcome. My name is Ganesh. I'm from learnenglishlab.com and this lesson is about the verb to be. Now the verb to be is one of the most important verbs in the English language. So if you're learning English, you should definitely know how to use it correctly. Now in this lesson, we'll talk about making positive and negative statements with be in the present tense. That is using am, is, and are. Now that means the verb be or to be is the base form. The am, is, and are the present tense forms. Okay. All right, so how do you use am, is, and are correctly? Now, over here I have a chart. You'll see am, is, and are over here, and you see the negative forms here. We'll first talk about the positive forms. Now, which one you use, am, is, or are, depends on the subject of the sentence. The subject is who or what is doing the action in a sentence. So if the subject of a sentence is I, then you will use am. Like in these examples, I am a teacher. I am a teacher. Okay. Or I am happy. So if I'm smiling, I would say I am happy. Now we're using am because the subject is I. If it's he, we would say he is a teacher or she is a teacher. He is happy or she is happy, etc. So when the subject is he, she, or it, or any singular noun, we use is. Okay? So in this example, she is 6 years old. This example talks about the age of a child. It can be she or it can be he. He is 6 years old. She is 6 years old, etc. It is 11 o'clock. This example talks about the time. So what's the time? It's 11 o'clock. Okay. In this example, Tim is hungry. Notice here, we're not using he, she, or it. But Tim is a singular noun. Tim is one person. And in fact, we can also say he is hungry or Tim is hungry. That's the reason we're using is. Singular noun, so is. Now, if the subject is you, we, they, or any plural noun, then we will use are. Okay? Like in these examples, you are beautiful. This is a very nice thing to say to someone. If you tell someone, hey, you are beautiful, that person will feel very happy. In example number 7, we are in the car. We're using are because the subject is we. This means that me, or I, and some other people, so more than one person, this is plural. Me and the family, for example, is we. We are in the car. They are my parents. Imagine a friend comes to me and asks me, hey, you see those two people standing over there? Who are they? I look and I say, oh, they're my parents. Let me introduce you to my mom and dad. Now here you can also say, those are my parents. Those is plural, so we would again use are. And in the final example, Tara and Layla are students. Notice here that Tara is one person and Layla is also one person. But Tara and Layla are two people. For that reason, we are using are. Tara and Layla are students. Now you notice here that I have these short forms. Those are how we use am, is, and are in speaking. So this example, I am a teacher, we would shorten that. We would say, I'm. When we speak, we would say, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. That is the more natural way of saying it. That's how native speakers speak. I'm a teacher. And the focus is on teacher because that is the main information in the sentence. I'm a teacher. Over here, I'm happy. Happy. I'm happy. Okay. In these examples, we simply take the subject and we use the short form apostrophe and S. That's called an apostrophe. Apostrophe S. So she is would be she's. It is its. Tim is Tim's. And if you have he is, that would be he's. So she's 6 years old. When we speak, we don't say she is 6 years old. We say she's 6 years old. It's 11 o'clock. Tim's hungry. Tim's hungry. See how that's more natural to say? And if we have are, we would take the short form and we would put it next to the subject. So you are would be your. It's pronounced your. Your. We are is we're. Practice saying it. We're. And they are is there. Now for this example, we cannot use a short form because these are plural nouns. So if you have Tara and Layla or a plural noun, we don't use short forms. Okay. So this example would be, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. What about this? Can you say it? We're in the car. We're in the car. And this example would be, they're my parents. They're my parents. For the final example, remember, we're going to say it in full. Tara and Layla are students. All right, let's now move on and talk about making negative sentences. Making negative sentences is really easy because all you have to do is just add not to am, is, and are. So am not, is not, and are not. Those are the negatives. Now that's easy. But what you need to learn are the short forms. Just like for positive sentences, we have short forms for the negative sentences as well. You will notice that there's only one short form here for am, but there are two short forms for is and are. And I will tell you why that is. Now to make a short form, you can do it in two ways. The first is to remove the first letter and put apostrophe. So apostrophe M not for am not. You remove I, so apostrophe S not, and apostrophe RE and not. That's the first way. The second way to do that is to remove the O in not. So you see here, there's, here, there's isn't. So that O is missing and you have the apostrophe instead. So isn't and aren't. But in English, amn't cannot be used. I don't know why. It's a rule in English. We don't use amn't. So only is and are can be used in that way by removing the O. All right, let's now look at some examples. These are our examples. I have made them into negative sentences. Now for all of them, you can simply add not. So you can say, I am not a teacher. I am happy. I am not happy. She is not 6 years old. It is not 11 o'clock. But the problem, again, is it's not natural. You can write like that, but when you speak, it's much better and much more natural to use short forms. So in these two examples, I'm not a teacher. I'm not happy. See how natural that sounds? I'm not a teacher. I'm a student. I'm not happy. I'm sad, etc. In these examples, you can use either the first type of short form, that is apostrophe S and not, or you can use isn't. They have the same meaning, so you can use whichever one you want. So in this example, she's not 6 years old. She's not 6 years old, she's 8 years old, for example. You can also say she isn't 6 years old. Or it isn't 11 o'clock. It isn't 11 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock. Okay. Tim's not hungry. Maybe because I just gave Tim some food, Tim's not hungry. Look at him, he's happily playing over there. So Tim's not hungry. You can also say Tim isn't hungry. That's correct as well. Now for are, you can use either apostrophe are and not, or aren't, just like for is. So this example is a little rude. That means it's not a good thing to say. If you say to someone, "You're not beautiful," it's not a nice thing to say. Grammatically, it's okay, but please don't say it to anyone. But the example is, "You're not beautiful," or "You aren't beautiful." Number 7, we aren't in the car. We aren't in the car, we're in the house. You can also say, "We're not in the car." Number 8, they're not my parents. So my friend asks me, "Hey, who are those people standing over there? Are they your parents?" I look and say, "They're not my parents. I don't know who they are." Okay. You can also say, "They aren't my parents." Now in this last example, Tara and Layla aren't students. You can only use aren't in this example. Because Tara and Layla are a plural, we cannot use apostrophe are and not. At least it's not very common to use that. It's much more common to use aren't in this case. Now we're going to do a test to see if you can use am, is, and are correctly. Okay, on the screen I have 10 sentences and I'd like you to fill in the gaps with the correct form of be. If you see a plus sign, fill in the gap with am, is, or are. And if you see a minus sign, fill in the gap with am not, is not, or are not. Take a moment and pause the video now if you need, and think about your answers to these questions. Once you have answers, pause the video and check. Alright, let's now discuss the answers. Number 1, James isn't a doctor. He's a pilot and both his sisters are nurses. Number 2, Liz and Abe are married. They're very happy together. Number 3, I'm not hungry, but I'm thirsty. Number 4, you're not late, you're on time. Number 5, it's very warm today. Number 6, the Eagles are my favorite rock band. Number 7, she's not in her office now, please call back later. Number 8, Venice and Rome aren't in Greece, they're in Italy. Number 9, how old are you? I'm 19. Number 10, you're a very good student. Alright, I hope you got all of those answers correct. Remember to subscribe to this channel. We have a lot of new lessons coming, and I'll see you in another lesson.